Hi, it's Steve. Today we'd like to show you how to change the internal drain hose on your washer. It's a really easy repair. Let me show you how we do it. Now before we begin this repair, the first thing we'll need to do is to disconnect power to the washer. So either locate the electrical panel, turn off the appropriate breaker, or remove the appropriate fuse, or simply pull the washer far enough forward that you can unplug it. And once we've done that, we can start our repair. Now with the power disconnected, we pull the washer slightly forward so that we can tilt it back. To remove the front panel on these models, the screws are in at about a 45-degree angle. So you'll either need to use a stubby screwdriver or tilt the washer back. Other models have the screws that go straight through the front panel. Lower the washer down into position. Grasp the front panel on the sides and pull the bottom towards you while keeping a little upward pressure on it, and then allow it to unhinge the two spring clips from the main top. And we'll set the front panel aside. Now next we need to raise the main top. We'll do so by removing two 3/8-inch hex head bolts that secure the top to the cabinet, one in each corner. If your model has a bleach cup, you'll need to disconnect the hose from that bleach cup. Simply pull it off and just tuck it in the corner. And then while supporting the lid, we can raise the whole main top and it will stay in an upright position. Just lower the lid down. And we now have access to that drain hose. So there'll be a clamp at the outlet of the pump, and it also attaches to a siphon brake along the back. Now the easiest way to remove it from that siphon brake is to take the siphon brake away from the washer back panel. It's held in place with 4 screws. If you choose to leave the siphon brake in place, you'll need to go in and cut the single-use clamp that attaches the hose to that. Now if your washer has this style of clamp securing the hose, we'll use a 5/16 nut driver and loosen that clamp about a half a dozen threads. Once we've loosened it a bit, we'll next just give the handle of that nut driver a sharp rap downward. That should loosen the clamp. And then we can pull that hose off. If you can reuse the clamp, we'll just slide that off the hose. And now we'll go up to the siphon brake and disconnect it from there. Now, if you've chosen to leave the siphon brake attached to the cabinet, we'll take a pair of side cutters and we'll go in and we'll cut through this single-use clamp. And once we've cut that clamp, we can remove that and discard it. And then we'll twist that hose to remove it from the siphon brake. Then we can pull that hose completely out of the washer and discard it. Now to reassemble, we've put on a gear type clamp on that hose. We're just going to tuck that down into the opening and just wet the inside of that drain hose and then force it back on top of that siphon brake. Make sure we have it fully inserted onto the siphon brake. And we can then slide the clamp up into position, tighten it. I also want to make sure that the air dome tube is in behind that drain hose. And then just tighten the clamp securely. And now we're ready to go down to attach the other end to the pump. So next we'll take that hose and slide it onto the outlet port of the pump. We want to make sure that we push that all the way onto the pump. And verify that we don't have any kinks in that drain hose. And then we'll slide the clamp down into position. And once we have that clamp positioned properly, we can then tighten it up. And now we're ready to put the front panel on. Now to reinstall the front panel, we want to make sure that we line up these two spring clips with two little notches that are underneath the leading edge of that main top. So tilt it out at an angle, make sure it's pressed firmly up against the top, is equal distance side to side, and while keeping some upward pressure on it, rotate it down into place. There should be a very tight gap across the top. Next we can put in the retaining screws on the bottom. Now to install these screws on the models that have this cutaway on the bottom of the front panel, you'll want to tilt the washer back or use a stubby screwdriver. Make sure the front panel is flush to the cabinet. And the screws will go in at about a 45-degree angle. Just make sure the front panel is secure, and then we can prepare to push the washer back into place. Now that we have the washer back together, we're ready to push it into position, reconnect the power, and your repair is complete.